It is the J.R. Joker Show. And now here's the star of the J.R. Joker Show, J.R. Joker. Hello. It is the J.R. Joker Show. We're darn serious about it. But before we get going, I want to ask you, and I want you to be frank, be brutally honest. Does this back scratcher make me look fat? Do I look fat scratching my back? What about this baseball? Does this back scratcher make this baseball look fat? Speaking of back scratchers, the next time Christmas rolls around and you're going like, oh, what am I going to get Steve? Jeez, get Steve this. You think Steve doesn't have to scratch his... Everybody has to scratch their back once in a while. And suppose you're alone, you end up like a bear, up against a tree, which actually works pretty good. This is the gift that keeps on giving. It's cheap, so if you're worried that they're going to call you a cheapskate, okay. But tell them when they unwrap it and they're like, they're unwrapping it, and then they look at it and they're like, it's a stick. Well, thanks for the stick. No, I'll explain to them, this is a back scratcher. And when they're alone, so good, the back scratcher. This will last forever. This is a piece of bamboo. It's like iron, ain't going nowhere, Very flexible. So, you don't know what to get Steve for Christmas? This is it. The back scratcher. It is the ultimate gift. Or Cynthia. Really, anybody, man or woman. Kids won't appreciate it, so, we'll wait until the person's more mature to understand the practical side of life. This is the best. So I'm a child of the 60s, duh, and we had so many interesting things going on in the 60s. The folk music continued. We had the Beatles. The Beatles, yes, we had the Beatles. And there's been a lot of analyses, like, why were the Beatles so great? They are great, but why were they so big on the pop scene? Because even if you don't like pop music, you could still get into the Beatles. The interesting thing about the Beatles is like, they were like us. They were like young people discovering things, and one of the things they were discovering was music. And when they first started out, all they knew was like 3 chords. And they got better and better. That when they would discover a new way to combine, sequence of chords, they would write a song based on that, and we would learn too. And we might have learned it independent of that, but it was like, they were part of us. They didn't invent long hair. They didn't invent hippiedom and far-out clothing and all that. We just all got into it at the same time, and et cetera, so it was one of the cool things. Now, but understanding why they were big pop stars, was it because of the melodies of their songs? Was it because of the lyrical content of their songs? Was it because they played their instruments well? What was the number one thing? Not a secret, because it's right up there in your ears. What was the thing that made them absolutely irresistible? It was the sound of their voices, especially when they sang harmony, and especially when all 3, George, John, and Paul, at the same time sang together. That sound just came out of the radio and just grabbed you. So even if they would have been singing somebody else's music, and if their dominion, their expertise over their instruments was only second rate instead of first rate, which is what it was, just the sound of their voice. If they would have been singing "I've Been Working on the Railroad," they would have still been hits because of the magnetic lure of their voices, especially together. Very few things are as exciting as when they're doing Twist and Shout, and they do the they do the 1 5 7 1. It's just unbelievable. It's 1 3 5 1, and it's just irresistible. Anyway, that's my analysis of the Beatles. Another thing we had in the 60s, the dark side, we have cults. There was one cult which I almost got involved in. I mean, they really tried to drag me in. These guys wanted to tell me where to live, what to eat, how to dress, how to cut my hair, when to go to bed, when to get up. And I absolutely know, without a doubt, this is an evil cult. They were actually planning to teach me to use weapons and kill. Well, you've probably heard of this cult, the U.S. Army. So I fortunately was able to get out of that. Actually, I got out of it in about 5 minutes. It stretched out to about an hour before it was official, but I basically got out of it in 5 minutes. I've told you about it in another one of my videos, so go back and look. It's fun. It was cool. Buzzkill time. Okay, so I've buzzkilled several movies. I'm not telling you the movies are bad. They're not. The movies I buzzkill are great, like The Godfather, but I buzzkilled a plot element. Wizard of Oz, perfect movie, wonderful, but I buzzkilled the finale. It's a Wonderful Life. Wonderful movie. Buzzkilled that obvious point that nobody ever seems to notice. And now I'm going to buzzkill Forrest Gump. Not everybody likes Forrest Gump. My best friend hates it. I like it. I don't know. It seems to talk about karma. I mean, like, Forrest Gump just has this karma. It doesn't matter if he's not bright. You know, I mean, I think that came out during the George Bush administration. I just saw the same thing, you know, George Bush, you know. So I went to the White House again. Just the same thing. The thing that's really stupid that deserves a buzzkill comment is at about the 80% point in the movie, getting towards the end, when he's running, they have a reporter on TV. It's on the TV in the restaurant where Jenny is working, and the newscaster says, a gardener from Greenville, Alabama is crossing the Mississippi for the 3rd time. A gardener? Shouldn't he be saying a Medal of Honor winner, All-American, CEO of the largest seafood company in the Southeast, and sports diplomat Forrest Gump is crossing the Mississippi for the 4th time? I mean, a gardener? They didn't dig too deep, these reporters. So that's all I have to say about that. And I'll see you later.